City Council, my name is Rob Jones and I reside at 5406 Southwind Road in Greensboro. As a citizen of Greensboro, there are two key metrics that concern me and lead me to a resounding conclusion. From the year 2000 to the year 2010, Greensboro's population grew from 223,000 to 269,000 citizens. That's an increase of about 20%. Over the same time period, however, property tax revenues grew from $90.9 million to $154.6 million, an increase of over 70%. The funds required to sustain our local government are growing at a much faster pace than our population growth, and the conclusion for me is we really need to rein in spending. In our recently approved budget, the Greensboro Transit Authority sticks out to me as an area in which the city can exercise better fiscal discipline and rein in spending. If you'll show the second graph, please. According to the budget, the GTA service is going to require $21.2 million of revenues. $2.6 million of those revenues, or 12.6%, will be raised through user charges. $6.5 million will be raised from federal and state grants, $8 million directly from property tax, and $1.6 million from intergovernment transfers. All total, those three revenue sources come to $16.1 million, or 75.7% of the revenue needed to sustain the GTA. That means over 75% of the cost of the GTA service is paid for directly by the taxpayer. There are a few other interesting calculations that I'd like for us to note. The GTA agenda on the floor today is actually asking for $7.5 million from federal and state grants, and not the $6.5 million as approved in our budget. Graph 3. According to the budget, the revenue raised from property taxes alone, $8 million, is approximately 5% of the total property tax revenue. The next graph shows that of the 4.3 million anticipated trips that's been estimated by the GTA, roughly 2.1 million are made by area students who aren't necessarily current or future Greensboro citizens. That leaves 2.2 million trips that are made by our citizens. Estimating that a single primary user will take roughly 500 trips per year, that leads us to believe that we may have only 4,400 primary users among our citizens. For argument's sake, let's bump that up to 10,000 primary users. Regardless, less than 4% of Greensboro's 266,000 population uses the GTA system. There are a few questions I think the city should consider. Does the GTA provide a service to all of Greensboro citizens? Does it provide a service to the majority of Greensboro citizens? No, perhaps less than 4%. Is the GTA self-sustainable? Does it recoup a majority of its costs in the form of user fees? No, only about 12.5%. Is the tax burden on the citizens light? No. $16 million per year is what we're asking from our government, and 5% of our property taxes directly support this service. If given simply to the citizens of Greensboro to decide, would you rather support the GTA or save 5% on your property taxes and not ask for an additional $7.5 million from the federal and state government? I wonder how that vote would go. In conclusion, the GTA represents one of those services that does not serve the majority of Greensboro citizens, and yet the tax burden is heavy. In an era of fiscal discipline and a time in which we must rein in spending, this is exactly the type of service that should demand an added measure of scrutiny. I implore the council not to treat the GTA as a necessary component of our city's infrastructure, but rather look at it simply as an optional service that provides some benefit to a very small percentage of our population. Even if you choose to apply for these grants today, I implore you to begin making preparations now to not reapply for those in the future. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Perkins, and then Ms. Bellamy-Small.
When you made your initial assumption based on population growth and revenue growth, did you take into consideration the areas in the city that were annexed during that period of time?
No, sir.
Sir, do you use the public bus system?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever used a public bus system?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that means you don't know the value of the public bus system to people who don't have transportation.
That's not my argument.
Well, you know what? Okay, you made your presentation. Can I?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 33% of my district relies on public transportation to get to jobs in West Greensboro, to clean houses, cook, do all the kind of service stuff that has to be done. Now, would you propose that the people in West Greensboro get caravans and come to East Greensboro to get the labor force that works for them? I don't think that those who you're saying such a small minority, you got to look at this from both ends. Because this workforce winds up being able to go and work for folk who want folk to come do that kind of work for them. Plus, you have other professionals who want green and want us to reduce our carbon footprint, who want to ride the bus to downtown and that type of thing. So I think it's a little bit insulting to say that this is a tax burden. Our mass transit is an economic generator. It is one way to get people from one place to another without having to use cars to do it. You have a lot of people in this economy, I don't know, well, you say you drive a car, right?
Yes.
So you've seen the gas price lately.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I can assure you, $1.30 to go to work, as opposed to putting $3.59 a gallon in your tank when you can't afford the car or the gas, is not a luxury. It's a part of life. So I don't believe I'm hearing this, but I mean, you're free to speak just as much as I am, but this is not a burden on the taxpayers. It is a part of what we do as a government to help provide for all the citizens, because you got people who are benefiting from it, and you got people who are using it.